This is what they sent me.
That's it.
That's it.
What is
Where's the rest of the dragon?
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Where's the rest of the dragon?
I'm just a man on his way to the moon, wishing the rocket would go faster. All the stars remind me of you, yeah they do. I'm on my way to you. I'm just a man on his way to the moon, wishing the rocket would go faster. All the stars remind me of you, yeah they do. I'm on my way to you.
Yeah, you got to like I was like, I stick to Amazon because oh my god.
Well, I think we're live. Good morning. We're live. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Canna-Joe morning show. Today is December 13th, 2021 still. I'm Michael Ford.
Hey guys, I'm Jenny.
I'm Leisha.
Kevin Dave.
Yeah.
With the weather.
I was lacking. I was looking at the phone, looked up. No.
Yeah, you gotta count it down. It's 1, 2, Dab and Dave, Dab. You gotta hit on that really.
He said 1, 2. Hey.
And I'm Varda, man. Thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Monday morning.
Another day. We'll see how beautiful it is from Dave. But before we go on anymore, you guys, I did want to take 1 second here. Vari, I'm going to give you the co-host. Boom, bang, Dab and Dave for some weather. Man, I'm sure you guys heard that over the weekend, man, there was a tornado that went 200 miles. So far, over 106 people killed in Kentucky, man. I want to send prayers. Well wishes,
big prayers,
whatever you guys got, man, send out to Kentucky, man. If you haven't seen or heard about it yet, man, it's devastating. It's huge. Man, I've been reading and watching news articles on it since, I don't know, for like 2 days now, man. So I know we haven't been live since Friday, and it happened Friday evening and Thursday. So I did want to take a special opportunity here for us to, send well wishes out to all the families that lost their homes and loved ones and all of that stuff. So maybe we could do, I don't know, a minute of silence or something for them. Thank you guys for that. That wasn't a full minute, but close to a minute. Back to you, Vari. All right.
Back to me.
Back to me.
So,
nice hoodie. Yeah, you got that thing on today, man.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, just did my hoodie laundry recently.
I got the updated clean. Yeah.
Yeah, this is real nice though. I mean, this is nice. Went through the wash, came out, everything's still sparkling. I don't see no cracks. I don't see no dripping.
Still feel
shiny, soft. Still feel soft inside. Outside and inside. Yeah, you just gotta make sure you follow the directions on the thing, on the tag.
On the tag.
Shut up, but
I don't know.
Take that
I'm not great at laundry, I don't know. We got a laundry person at our house. that does the laundry portions. I'm like the guy that carries the big ass family size bag down to the truck. That shit is huge too, man. It's, oof. Yeah, but carry it back up the steps. Anyway, what you got for us today, Vari?
I got a few stories. First is this is gonna be kind of interesting because it might affect some of us here in everywhere USA. So they're saying that the cannabis industry is getting ready to get hit by a supply chain shortage. Specifically talking about vapes and packaging. So getting basic materials like ceramic, stainless steel, and computer chips from China has gotten so difficult that it's about to hit one of the few industries that has so far been insulated from supply chain woes, US cannabis. Shout out to Drake. So, and then also, that's also why it's so hard to get a PS5 or a Xbox Series X right now.
Or a new car.
Yeah, or a new car. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Chips. Rolling power outages in China have affected about 6 out of the 13 components that go into vape hardware made by Blink Group, according to Chief Executive Officer Arnaud Dumas de Raleigh. There was also widespread problems with shipping. All of this may start affecting the price of cannabis vapes, but on top of all of this, Lunar New Year is coming. With it, disruptions and delays are expected to intensify as workers take long holidays, Dumas de Raleigh said. I believe this issue will go on at least until the end of May. It's not just vape devices, the raw materials for the equipment that fills them with cannabis, the LEDs for grow houses, all of it comes from China. The company has noticed shortages of chipsets, which are used in most technology devices, including those for vaping marijuana. The cannabis industry has so far been shielded from supply chain woes because most of it's hyper-local. Since it's a Schedule I substance, companies risk large embargoes unless they grow and process it in the state where it will be sold. But state-specific supply chains can only protect the industry for so long. Forefront Ventures, a company with operations in California, Illinois, Massachusetts, Michigan, and Washington, hasn't seen shortages of raw materials yet, but it's already suffering from shipping delays from items such as vape cartridges and specialty packaging, including tin boxes. We're trying to order ahead. We're not paying more, but we're paying up front. Also, we've begun to source domestic pools of inventory, said Josh Crane, the company's vice president of operations for California. This November, he made orders and paid deposits for goods that he won't need until April, May, or even June, he told me. So far, both Forefront and Blink say they've managed to avoid passing costs on to customers by finding alternate suppliers and prepaying far in advance for orders. Excuse me. Whether consumers see an impact will hinge on the multi-state operators and dispensaries that sell the end products. Thanks to market dynamics, however, many of them have got wiggle room. Prices of marijuana itself have fallen sharply this year. The volume-weighted average spot price for cannabis for the week ended November 26th was $1,290 a pound. God damn. Yay. We're down 19.1% year over year, according to Cannabis Benchmarks. Division of New Leaf Data Services and Cohen & Co. Therein lies an interesting twist for the cannabis market. So far, Crane said the depressed prices have shielded cannabis consumers from higher prices at dispensaries. When the supply chain impacts arrive, they'll hit products like fancily packaged pre-roll joints and vape cartridges more than raw flower. Prices would be broadly falling if it weren't for the inflation and supply chain issues, he added. Cannabis products should be getting cheaper for the consumer, Crane said, but they're not. Numbers of the week: 83% of the cannabis M&A activity in 2001 that was in cultivation and retail space, according to New Frontier data. The rest were in categories like ancillary services and products in agriculture technology. Okay. Quote of the week: a lot of US cannabis companies are big enough that they should be in the US small cap or possibly one of the 2 US mid cap indexes that are calculated by the MSCI or FTSE, right now they're not. Canadian Securities Exchange CEO Richard Carlton said in an interview on how the exchange's latest proposal will benefit cannabis companies. And then this just kind of talks about some financial stuff regarding cannabis. Not sure if maybe we need to have like a cannabis finance issue or portion at some point. But it does talk about the Canadian Security Exchange unveiled a proposal that will boost firms' liquidity, lower their cost of capital, and let dealers allow their clients to hold them in margin accounts for cannabis companies. Wells Fargo has started coverage of cannabis stocks, and the industry has gone from taboo to mainstream. Tilray, which is a Canadian cannabis company, has a deal to buy Breckenridge Distillery in Colorado, which is a producer of whiskey and other spirit. Delix Therapeutics announced on a partnership with the National Institute on Drug Abuse to test one of its leading drug candidates, an analog of ibogaine, to treat substance use disorders. Oh, that's huge. Damn. Holy shit. Okay. Elon Musk joked about drugs when asked his views on aging and psychedelics. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. I'm gonna share this. If you happen to own like a cannabis business that has to do with like carts and packaging and stuff, this might pertain to you, and I'm gonna drop that in the comments. So if you want to check it out, dig a little deeper, you guys will have that information there.
Yeah, it's nice to see the psychedelics are really working.
Right.
God, I had a good friend I went to high school with that was so far gone on meth for so many years. And I mean, I'm talking like over 10 years. He was just out of it. And my buddy, when I heard my buddy say, we were on a conversation, he said he mentioned he'd quit. And I asked him last time I talked to him, I said, so what's up with, what's up with Corey? What made him decide to quit? And he said he took a fucking hit of DMT. And that's all it took. And it made him realize what exactly, what a dick he'd been for the last 15 years. And he hasn't touched it since.
That's awesome.
He's completely dry. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Drugs are crazy, man. I think there's been a lot of research that shows that cannabis helps with recovering from different type of addictions. And I actually had a conversation some time ago with somebody that was interested in starting a clinic. Trying to figure out the rules and regulations on actually starting like a clinic where they use cannabis to help people recover from different type of addictions. I think it'd be dope if somebody actually, brought that to fruition. Is that the right word?
Well, there is a clinic in Minnesota. There's a couple of them that work with ketamine.
Okay.
And it sounds like the same thing. You go in, you do a ketamine trip, they guide you through it, and next day you talk about it, and on your way you go.
Yeah, I think we met one of those ladies at the Pride Festival. She was talking about how they're currently working with the DEA, and they're like finishing some trials to get approved for working with psilocybin. She said it might be by next year they'll be able to start doing psilocybin treatment as well.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. So
that means they need to just go ahead and legalize so we can just get it cracking up here.
Yeah. Well, one day we'll look back just kind of like how people look back now at like prohibition days for alcohol, and they're just like, they're like, oh yeah, okay, it was just a thing back then, and like really won't appreciate it. But like us in it right now, like I think this is like a really huge time. Like I honestly, when I first started smoking when I was really younger, probably much younger than I should have been, like I never anticipated that like cannabis, much less like any other drug, would be legalized anywhere in my lifetime. So I think it's really
right. I grew up in the DARE era, so you can imagine me like, wow, you lied to us. You had that girl slouched on that couch like that talking about this, what we do to you. Like, oh my gosh.
You remember that commercial?
Right. All melted in the couch. Like, oh, you lied to us.
Okay, Vari, what you doing? The braid on drugs, egg?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. They lied to us. But there is some drugs out there, man, and that's hard to get off, man. I know crack was a hell of a pandemic. And yeah, man. Meth came after that later, but there's a lot of shit in between there, man. But I just say those two because those two are oof.
I grew up where it was heroin and crack, so I saw some horrible stuff as a shorty.
Yeah. Yeah, drugs, man. Anyway, what else you got for us, Bart? Sorry, y'all. I don't know how to use this thing, and I don't got no coffee, so I'm trying to, figure this Keurig thing out.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. We could tell though.
What's that?
Don was like, yeah, Michael ain't had coffee yet. Anyway, so Visa is warning the misuse of cashless ATMs that are used by cannabis retailers to skirt restrictions. I think I remember actually using one of these when I was in Colorado a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and you can't use the credit cards, so they have those ATMs in there.
So Visa, the world's second largest card payment company, recently issued a compliance memo to customers warning them that miscoding point of sale transactions through the use of so-called cashless ATMs, a practice used by some cannabis retailers as a workaround to accept credit or debit cards for purchases, could lead to penalties or other unspecified enforcement action. This warning comes as congressional lawmakers grapple with how to handle marijuana business banking. The House passed a defense bill in September with language that would have protected banks that work with state legal cannabis companies, but after talks with the Senate, those provisions were not attached to a new bicameral deal filed Tuesday. The December 2nd memo from Visa that was obtained by Marijuana Moment says the company is aware of a scheme in which merchants are using the cashless ATMs to effectively sidestep restrictions on the types of sales that payment cards that can be used. Cashless ATMs are POS systems or devices, which is the point of sale, driven by payment applications that mimic standalone ATMs. However, no cash disbursements are made to cardholders. The memo explains instead the devices are used for purchase transactions which are miscoded as ATM disbursements. Purchase amounts are often rounded up to create the appearance of a cash disbursement. At cannabis retailers, for example, a $45 purchase might be rounded up to $60 and coded as a cash disbursement. The retailer would then subtract the purchase price plus taxes from the apparent $60 withdrawal and return the change to the customer. To the payment processor, it would look like a $60 ATM withdrawal, but to the customer, it would seem as though they bought cannabis with a card. Very sneaky.
Wow.
Memo doesn't mention cannabis specifically. It notes that cashless ATMs, which are sometimes called reverse ATMs, are primarily marketed to merchant types that are unable to obtain payment services, whether due to the Visa rules, the rules of other networks, or legal or regulatory prohibitions, a category that includes cannabis businesses. With federal prohibition preventing most marijuana retailers from accepting credit or debit cards as direct payment, some have seen the use of cashless ATMs as a convenience for customers and thus a smart business decision. Rather than maintain on-site premises ATM or ask customers to show up with cash, they can simply swipe their card like any other retailer. Companies that market cashless ATM devices, meanwhile, remind retailers that customers tend to spend more when they can pay with plastic. What keeps me up at night is that when not if or one or more eager assistant U.S. attorneys with their eye on advancement sinks their teeth into this, it has a catastrophic potential to derail our industry's momentum and inflict great damage, said Nathaniel Guerin, CEO of FinCon, which provides financial services to specific cannabis businesses. Visa's compliance memo is brief when it comes to enforcement misuse of cashless ATMs, will be subject to non-compliance assessment and or penalties, or subject to further compliance enforcement, it says, but does not include the details. The company did not immediately respond to email or phone messages from Marijuana Moment. Stephen Hawking
The CEO of U.S. Cannabis Council said in a statement to Marijuana Moment that cannabis retailers across the country are being squeezed by unfair banking and tax rules that single out cannabis businesses. We urge Visa and other financial institutions to constructively engage with lawmakers and the cannabis industry on payment options. Ultimately, Congress will need to step in by passing the Safe Banking Act, which we are urgently working to pass. Other industry groups expressed disappointment with Visa for targeting cannabis retailers rather than supporting them. It's unfortunate that Visa is unwilling to work with cannabis industry, which is legal in dozens of states and represents billions of dollars in economic activity at a time when the country needs all financial options it can use, said Morgan Fox, Media Relations Director for National Cannabis Industry Association. But it is even worse that they are trying to discourage alternative solutions that are primarily utilized by small businesses to protect themselves and their customers from theft and violent crime. The announcement amounts to intimidation, Fox said, and will directly put cannabis businesses at even greater risk that could cost lives. Combing through Visa's rules, author Casey and Carbide, a corporate and banking compliance lawyer, noted that such violations of the company rules may result in a disciplinary action against the merchant, as well as potential fine of $200,000 or $250 per day, which can be retroactively applied to and from the first day of non-compliance and termination of the merchant's account. Damn. The article goes on for a while here, just kind of going over more of the rules and some of the calls for action from some of the other groups. In September, the House attached language from the Secure and Fair Enforcement, the Safe Banking Act in its version of NDAA. The groups wanted Senate to follow the chamber's lead, though it ultimately did not. Bipartisan members of the Senate Armed Services Committee had also sent their own letter urging leaders to include the Safe Banking Act in the final NDAA shortly thereafter. U.S. senators representing Colorado made the same request in a separate letter. The Safe Banking Act has been approved in some form in the House 5 times now, but languished in the Senate thanks to Chuck Schumer, who is the Senate Majority Leader. He said that he basically wants the MORE Act passed first, but he did say that he was open to enacting banking reform through NDAA if it contained social equity provisions. Last month, a bipartisan coalition of 24 governors implored congressional leaders to finally enact marijuana banking reform through large-scale defense legislation. A group of small marijuana business owners also recently made the case that incremental banking policy changes could actually help support social equity efforts. Rodney Hood, oh, that's a great name. A board member of the National Credit Union Administration wrote in a recent marijuana op-ed that legalization is an inevitability, and it makes the most sense for government agencies to get ahead of the policy change to resolve banking compliance now. Meanwhile, officials in the IRS said that the agency would like to get paid. Give me that money, son. And it'd help if the marijuana industry had access to banks like other companies in the legal market, so they could more easily comply with taxes and they could count that money and get that data. Like,
man.
So we'll see how that turns out. Even the IRS is like, yeah, let's get this done, man. We need to get paid.
What's wrong with Schumer? I mean, I don't understand. Why would you even want to try to, it just makes sense to pass the Safe Banking Act before we end federal prohibition. I mean, you could end federal prohibition. Everybody's like, yay, and the banks are like, fuck you. So it's still kind of fucked.
Yeah, I think the issue is though, man, they want to pass the MORE Act. I think we had an article and he was saying that he feels that it's not right for people to be still locked up in jail and prison for crimes while they're passing bills and people are making millions and millions of dollars. I think it is important to make sure that we figure out a path to get people out of jail, expunge records, and do all of that stuff before we allow the big banks to start, banking in all of this cash
Seems like
you
they
would
should be
think
going
that-
together.
Yeah, it should be going together, but unfortunately, it's not done that way. And I know that the Republican Party did. A Republican senator, introduced a bill to legalize marijuana as well that has some different language than the MORE Act. And I know those two bills are kind of up in debate, but I really would like to see expungement and stuff happen before they start opening these opportunities for banks.
Immediately.
The fact that there is no banking and people are doing cash, that's an industry by itself. You got to think of all the people that are getting paid to do security and all of that stuff in the legal states. That's a whole industry on its own. Yeah, I think it's a lot.
So Vari, when you were out there, those machines that you said that they had ATMs right in the machine.
So they had ATMs on site, but like there's a couple of them where I just gave them my card and I just ran my card through the thing.
I was just wondering how much they were charging for, I need, $60. How much are you gonna charge me for that? I was like, because I know it gets crazy. Like even here during the fair, they bring in these trailers with the machines in them. They charge like $6.
Yeah, and between $3 or higher.
Yeah, so
I think
I was
did one
curious
for $5.
if it's the cannabis companies that are owning the machines, or is it the banks?
I think it's a combination of both. Or actually, no, I think you can just buy an ATM machine, and then
we're buying
set
one.
your own rate too. So if I wanted to, I could put one outside my house on the sidewalk, and it's going to cost me $10 to pull out my money.
So I don't see why they wouldn't own them.
That's next, Vari. And you write that in the notes. We're going to buy an ATM. We're going to pull up to every event with an ATM. You guys take card? Nope.
ATM though.
Anyway, so before we get on to Dab and Dave with the weather, we do got some dope things coming up this week, you guys. If you haven't had an opportunity to go on to Facebook and look at MN Normal, we have an event coming up this weekend, December 18th. We're going to have the MN Normal Ugly Sweater Holiday Party. We got to stop making these long ass names, man. We have to make acronyms for them. MN Normal Ugly Sweater Holiday Party. We're going to be doing some talking about legalization. We're going to talk about some new staff at MN Normal. We're going to have some food, some smoked chicken. We're going to have some cheesy mashed potatoes, some green beans, dinner rolls, some beverages. We'll figure out beverages. If people want to bring snacks or something, they can bring snacks. It's going to be a dope event, man. If you want to get involved in legalization and all the stuff we're working on leading into 2022, please show up, get to meet some of the people doing the work here in Minnesota, and find out if there's something that you can do to get involved. In addition to that, PLC Pride annual gala at Marriott Hotel in Minneapolis, in Brooklyn Center. Right?
Yeah.
Center.
Yep.
What's the time on that? I don't remember the exact time. Is it
5?
5 o'clock. If you want to get involved in that, we don't have a flyer for that, but I think you can go to PLC Pride on Facebook. In addition to that, we do have the Final Four 20. If you don't know about it, you don't know about it. It's going to be a dope event. Capacity is only 100 people. So if you do want to come, reach out to me or join the event for updates and details on where the location will be or how you can come. It's going to be a good time. Last 4/20 of 2021. And then we're going to be jumping into 2022. Man, hope you guys can make it. If you can't make it, we'll catch you at the next one. Huge shout out to Minnesota Marijuana. We had our first community organizing meeting in over a year or something like that. Sunday, man, we got some dope moderators that are going to help us moderate the group. We got some dope ass ideas. We got some subgroups coming at y'all from all sides, man. Anything you got iPhone, Android, fishing, gaming, swimming, jumping, dancing. We're gonna make a couple of subgroups And we're going to get you guys in there, man, so you guys can better engage with the community and talk about things you like. There's also going to be a subgroup for cannabis legalization. So if you came to the Minnesota marijuana community specifically for legalization, you'll have a place to go. If you came specifically because you smoke indica, then you got a place to go as well. So we're trying to make a place for everything. Vari, come on, man. Hey, you look like the dude from Belly. Man, I don't like that shit.
Don't drop it down.
Groups. Oh, man, drop a dime on them. Anyway, so it's gonna be dope, man. So hopefully you guys make it out this weekend to the normal event, man. Look for those updates in the Minnesota marijuana community. If you can't find the community, send any of us a message and we'll get you into the community. You can't find it from Facebook because Facebook shadow banned us, man. We're that deep dark web type shit. But definitely get on there, man. Check it out. It's gonna be a good time. Otherwise, you can go to minmarijuana.com for any other updates. I think that's it. Did I forget anything? We got them all. Shout out to Canna-MN, man. They had an event this weekend. I couldn't make it to that. We was in the hotel with my son swimming, but I think they had a good holiday Canna-Kahula event. Did any of you guys make it to that one?
I think I saw Santa outside.
Oh, you saw Santa? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean like in a picture though, like from the event. I think I saw Santa at the event.
Oh, you seen Santa in a picture so you didn't make it to the event, but you did see Santa from a picture. Yep. Man, that's a cool little community. I've been to one of their events so far. Yeah, it's basically hemp farmers, man. Everybody growing the hemps and stuff, man. It's pretty dope. They're doing some good things, man. Shout out to Canna-Fativa. We're not hemp farmers, but shout out to the hemp farmers that farm the hemp that we farm or grow, or we don't grow it, we sell it. So shout out to all the hemp farmers in Minnesota. Yeah. Anyway, what else we got? Dab and Dave, what's the weather looking like, man?
Hey, everybody out there. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful day. And as usual, your weather is brought to you by windy.com. If you need to know what's going on outside, just click on windy.com. So, as you can probably tell by looking out your window, it's pretty dang nice out there right now. And it's pretty much the case for the entire state. We are all looking at some beautiful sunshine out there. Temperature's not too bad as we all sit back and assess the damage of all the snow we got over the weekend, which for, most places was quite a bit. As we take a quick look at the snow depth around the state, you're pretty much far-fetched to find anywhere that doesn't have some snow on it. So, welcome to winter. So anyway, today is going to be pretty decent. All right now we're in the mid to upper 30s. Winds anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour. It's not bad out there. It's pretty nice. This afternoon, it's going to stay in the coolish range, right around 30, but we do have a warm up coming. Tomorrow morning out the door, still going to be a little chilly, but as you'll start to feel by the afternoon, it's going to start warming up and our wind direction is going to change. We're going to start to get some warm air coming up out of the southeast, and we have a warm up coming Wednesday. So Wednesday morning out the door, it's actually going to be warmer than it was overnight on Tuesday. I think around midnight, we're going to start increasing our temperatures, and by 7 a.m., Rochester 50, St. Paul 43, St. Cloud 39, and then by 4 in the afternoon, we're looking at 60s down south. La Crosse 62, Rochester 62, St. Paul 48, St. Cloud 35, Monticello 37, and there's going to be a lot of melting going on in the southern part of Minnesota. But with that, and that's going to also something that's going to actually help with the melting, is we got our next system coming through Wednesday night. So right around 5 o'clock, it's going to start creeping across the southern border, and by 11 p.m., anywhere between 7 and 11 p.m., I would say, we're going to start getting some rain. and possibly thunderstorms too. We could have some thunder going through from what I'm hearing. And yeah, this is a pretty heavy system that's going to come through here. So we'll see what it does to our snowpack. Temperatures should be, pretty much above freezing. So the rain isn't going to, Western Minnesota might want to pay attention to this event, because the following morning out the door, it could be pretty slick, because depending on just how much snow it actually is going to drop on us, or excuse me, rain, and how wet it's going to be overnight, it might freeze. So the next morning, the roads are going to be just a little bit slick. Anyway, besides that, otherwise, enjoy those 60s, because after this weekend, this next coming weekend, it's going to start getting cold again. In fact, Friday morning, we're going to be pretty chilly. Saturday at 6 a.m., we're looking at 20s and teens. And as we get closer to Sunday next week, it's looking like it's going to want to bring in some colder temperatures. This dark purple up here is not looking good. I mean, it's winter, so I know a lot of us would like to see that, so the lakes would freeze so we could go fishing. But we should see more of a steady, cooler temperature from here on out. I mean, this is pretty far out on the 21st, so I would say that this is probably I wouldn't go making any plans off of this. I think it's going to stay cold after that, so enjoy it. I mean, today is going to be great, so I definitely would if you can handle 30 some degrees out, it's going to be a really nice day today. So back to you, John.
Where you at? Who you with?
Yeah, I saw him.
I think he's supposed to meet somebody at the gym.
Did a real job.
I know John be doing all kinds of stuff, man.
I know.
Where was he at? Rock climbing, whitewater rafting.
Yeah, I think he went parasailing once too.
Oh, he was telling me that he was standing on some whooping sand up in the what's it called? Boundary Waters.
It's whooping sand.
Yeah, whooping sand.
Yeah, whooping sand, man. That's weird, right? So apparently there's a portion where the current grinds all the rocks to the perfectly same circular size. And when you step on those rocks, when you step on the sand, it makes a weird sound. It's like, whoop, whoop. I'm serious, man. Look it up. It's real. Whooping sand. Google that. Whooping sand. That's your word for the day.
Whooping sand. Okay.
Whooping. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in today. Shout out to the Facebook user. Shout out to Jody. I see you on there. Jody.
We got a lot in the audience.
A lot of people on there today. Sadrina, I seen you on there. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Vaughn get on usually. Hopefully,
Jody, honey,
Alicia George, I see you on there in the chats.
Some new names.
Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to Twitter. All the people that tune in to our morning show every single day. We can't do it without you. Well, we can, but it's no fun if you don't get on and talk, man. We don't know you're here if you don't drop a comment. So if you're joining us, man, drop a 1 or a good morning or a hello or a howdy or something in the comments. Vari, you drop the links to the articles. If you want to check those out, go check them out. Otherwise, make sure you go join our events. Hope to see you guys soon. Vari, you got some words of wisdom for him?
Sure do. Wise men or wise people speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something.
Go.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah.
I'm just a man on his way to the moon, wishing the rocket would go faster. All the stars remind me of you, yeah they do. I'm on my way to you. I'm just a man on his way to the moon, wishing the rocket would go faster. All the stars remind me of you, yeah they do. I'm on my way to you.
work. I'm like, it's not whooping, rubbing it in my hand. But yeah, it's some dope stuff, man. Anyway, you guys have a dope day, man. I'll see y'all in the morning. Vari, I'm gonna shoot you a call later. I think we have some stuff to do, but